We live in challenging time. Education is a great chance for ensuring that we benefit from the digital revolution. I decided to check how the United States students rank internationally. In the 2015 Program for International Student Assessment Test, which compares educational performance worldwide, US teenagers were 24th in reading, 25th in science, and 41st in mathematics, among more than 500,000 of 15-year-old students from 72 countries. Frankly speaking, I expected better results. America is among top 5 countries which spending on education is the highest. I noticed that Massachusetts took part in this PISA test independently. I wanted to know how the kids from my state performed. They did quite impressive, according to Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. They shared the top spot with 8 other nations in reading. In science, the state students and those of 10 other countries were second, with Singapore students at the first. It often happens that classes are not intensive enough. Kids are not busy to the fullest at school, but somehow get a lot of homework. In high schools, there's a lot of talking about sports during the classes. I think teachers' evaluation should be more about how efficient and productive was the time students spent in class. There were 11 Chinese exchange program students in Westwood Academy for 3 weeks in February. I asked American students what they think about them. One thing in their answers surprised me.
Saying that the Chinese kids, they don't have as much free time as we do in the States, and their academic level is much higher than us. And I think that America can learn from these kinds of different countries in order to increase the standards of our country's education.
The future of the country is in classrooms, like basically where everyone learns the knowledge that they need to become successful, and they need that to grow careers. And for example, all the leaders of the country will have had to start somewhere as kids.
The children are the future. When we grow up, all of us, we will be integrated into American society, and we will determine whether the country falls or swims.
I think it's kind of amazing how much dedication they put into studying, and how they only have 1 hour to half an hour of free time is really different from here. Because kids here, they have sports and stuff after school, so they have more free time.
You know that commitment to study pays back. China is one of the top countries with best educational system. Its students rank among the first 5 countries in reading, science, and math. And there's the reason why the country focuses on education and its improvement. China wants to move up the technology. Chinese don't want to make a lot of stuff for the world anymore. They dream of designing the stuff. They want the next big product to be Chinese and be sold around the world, in America as well. US News and World Report published its high schools ranking in April 2017. According to it, Westwood Academy placed 46 out of 354 high schools in Massachusetts and 941st among 22,000 of high schools nationally. The school was awarded a silver medal. I would say not bad, but it depends with what to compare. Westwood Academy has the college readiness score of 45.2, while the top schools in this report have 100. It was a big news to me that charter and magnet schools were the top 10 high schools nationwide. One of my neighbors works in charter school.
I worked in one charter school, but I have worked there for just about 10 years now. So I work at Innovation Academy Charter School in Tingsboro. And What I have appreciated about working there as a teacher and the benefit I've seen about it for my students is that we do have a curricular flexibility that has allowed us to try different pedagogies. At our school in particular, we're project-based, so our class periods are between sometimes 72 to almost 80 minutes for one particular class. And this allows us to go really in-depth into student work and give them a large project that they can work on during the school day. Or in terms of selecting textbooks or texts and resources for students to work from, that's largely up to the teacher. Teachers are usually working in teams with several other teachers to develop curriculum. So for, say, the 9th grade American Studies class, there'll be 3 teachers who are developing the class together, and they'll make decisions together on how to present the material. Because of the autonomy that we give to any given teacher, some teachers may emphasize tests more than that. Certainly test taking is an important lifelong skill to take the SATs, and many professions are going to need to, you'll need to be able to take a test. So our class sizes, I think, are fairly typical compared to the surrounding districts. So we'll have it can range. So certainly our biggest class sizes have maybe 24 students in one class, which I think is fairly standard, but we do have some flexibility where we can end up with smaller seminars. So I teach a small seminar that has 10 students in the class. We do have a smaller teacher to student ratio, so even when we have that group of 24 students, there'll typically be 2 teachers. I think homework is always, it depends on the subject area. Certainly for our skills-based classes, I think they tend to have more nightly homeworks for regular practice, so things like math and English language arts. For me as a science teacher, I don't assign that much homework because we are doing so much work in class, and there's so much time to be working with them on their writing in class. They can be working on writing and drafting with me. I can help them edit, in the moment. They don't need to write something for me and then bring it in. We can do it all.
That's what I got from her story. The most of the learning process should be in school. It means that all time students spend in class should be used. Also, very important is how much they are engaged in real learning and how much they work on developing creativity in class. Mr. Antonelli wanted to talk about the need to bring some changes in college education.
And I believe today that there needs to be a shift in colleges and universities and the expectations. For instance, I have a son that's involved in criminal justice at Fitchburg State University. With everything that's going on in the criminal justice world, and terrorism and homeland security, I want a well-balanced child, but I think that there are some courses that he's taking now that are courses that are not going to benefit him in his particular capacity as a police officer. It was great seeing some pictures that he drew last year in his last semester, some drawings and so forth. And again, if he was passionate about art, I'd say that's terrific. But I need him to understand race and the different issues that go along with race. And maybe those conversations are happening in some of his courses, but I'd like to see more of those things. I'd like to see colleges and universities come up with an idea of a 3-year bachelor program with an advanced master's program so that these students are getting a really high impact education for 3 years, coming out with a master's program, and then let's think about something beyond the master's program. We've been so traditional. We've been so traditional in our thinking in which we do 4 years. Every student does 4 years. They come out with a boatload of debt in some circumstances, and then they have to go on and get their master's degree. Why not think outside the box? Why not think about a 3-year, high intensity, pull out some of the fluff courses that maybe you don't need, and then go into a master's program and really figure out how best to make sure that the people that are going into these employment opportunities have the full experiences that they need. Northeastern University does a great job. They put every student into an internship program. Mr. Olson and I discuss this all the time. It's a terrific opportunity for students to go out and to get embedded into something that they're going to do into the future.
At the very end, I wanted to remind what placements U.S. teens got in the 2015 PISA test among students from 72 countries. They were 24th in reading, 25th in science, and 41st in math. Can you imagine the situation if American teams placed 41st at the Olympic Games? That would be the end of the world. The whole nation would talk about it, but not about education. Well, each country makes its choice.